Hey everybody, I'm Donna Phelps, and I am standing here in front of the Hogan at the Navajo BIC Mission. This building is a traditional building where Navajo ladies would go to have their children. See, the Navajo ladies, come on in with me. The Navajo ladies really didn't want to give birth in a hospital, and the hospital was operated right up the hill. So they would come here to give birth to their children. This is just one of the many buildings that's on property here at the Navajo BIC Mission. What you're going to see in the minutes ahead are clips from some of our team members who served here this past week in front of other areas of the Navajo Mission. There's so much going on here, and we are so blessed to hear about the work that is being done here. And thanks to you, we were able to touch some real lives last week. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
Hi, I'm Janet Shelkey. Most of you know me. We came to the mission on Saturday, and on Sunday we worshiped together with the people of the Brethren in Christ Mission. When we gathered in this room, if you look around, we had a wonderful service of music. The first half an hour was full of Navajo songs as well as English hymns. Shannon sang, ladies sang in Navajo, and it touched our hearts. And the men gathered. Only men do the drumming, not women. And they gathered, and our David was one of the drummers. It was so good, and they praised God on the drum, and it was a beautiful experience. And then we gathered in this room and we had dinner. They all brought food and welcomed us into the community. It was a really glorious time of getting to know them. And my part here has been helping with the women's retreat. We started at 8, ended at usually around 2. But today, the culmination of it all was the women were so sharing with us. We prayed together. They wanted us to sit and pray with them. They wanted hugs. They wanted to talk about what their lives were like. We learned a lot about the sorrows they have, the loss of lives they have, the lack of food they have, the lack of electricity, the lack of water, lack of transportation, lack of opportunities. So it was a beautiful experience for me, but it's also a sad one because you see the many issues and the hope that we prayed so much that they would see the hope in Jesus Christ. I felt little glimmerings there. I really felt that they could sense the Spirit of God moving today especially, but all through the week we were building relationships. Every single woman, I think, had built a relationship with another woman. So it was very worthwhile, and we're so grateful we got to come and be a part of this beautiful experience.
I'm Valerie, and my job this week was to help drive the car to bring the ladies here. So I would go out in the morning and in the afternoons pick up the ladies at the reservation. Transportation can be very hard for families there. Many times there's one car for 10 or 15 people in a family, so we were very blessed to be able to bring them in for some fellowship and worship time. We would talk in the car and sing, and just it was a real blessing. It was wonderful to get to know the ladies here this week.
Hi, I'm Georgia. I was part of the team. So what I've been doing this week is I've been helping a lot in the kitchen. I've been preparing meals. I've also gone to pick the ladies up, take them back home, and just generally help them out if they're in need.
And what is one takeaway that you would have of being on Navajo Nation for a week?
Their culture is beautiful. I mean, just generally about them. I was able to actually, the 2 Navajo ladies named Mary Lou and Marilyn, I was able to help make traditional Navajo tacos with them. And just hearing about their culture and their experiences was amazing. They told me stories about why you have to do this and tales from their childhood. I mean, it was just an amazing experience.
Hi, I'm Linda Geist. This is my first time I've come to New Mexico, and I was doing lunches this week and teaching some of the ladies how to cook some different things, something that they would like, something nutritional, low in carbs, and high in protein. And they seemed to like that, and no one told them if they didn't like anything that we made. So I thought that was pretty good.
Hi, David Hope. My name is David. I want to come here, the mission. I want to help others because I love talk other people about God. And because I love to work like school. I have Bob, and I have my dad too. I do that, and I make coffee every day for breakfast.
Yes, you did.
And after that, I back to work. So because God didn't want me to come here. That's great. Because I love God, my heart.
My name is Bob. I served on the mission team from Living Hope Church last week. My job here was to finish up some lock work that I started last year. Between this year and last year, I replaced, repaired, and master keyed about 50 locks. But, most of the locks on a master key system where the supervisors and directors had one key to get them into most of the locks. Behind me is the gym. Also has a big kitchen, serves as a banquet room, has a free laundry and free showers that they provide to the Navajo people, because most of the homes on this reservation do not have electric or running water. So between the hours of 8 and 8 each day, they come do their laundry and take their showers, and it doesn't cost them a thing. This mission also provides food. They have a food pantry, and they distribute that one day a week. They can come in, get a box of food, something to keep them fed for a day or two, which is a really big deal for these people, because a lot of times they don't know where their next meal is coming from. The mission also provides water for them. The Navajo people come down and pick up trucks with 1 gallon or 200 gallon or 300 gallon containers on the back of pickup trucks, are able to fill those trucks up with water for, I think it's about 10 cents a gallon, and take it back and use that water for whatever they need and come back when they need more. So working here is serving these people is a blessing, and I hope to be back for more.
We also help the retired missionaries who can't really clean their house much, so we help them clean their living room and their food pantry, and now it's spotless.
Very good. And what did you learn through seeing all of the native artwork and artifacts in their living room?
They had special meanings to the natives, and they also were like specially detailed. There were no mistakes in them.
Excellent, excellent. And of course, one of us learned how to play a new instrument, but we think she might need a couple lessons. And what did you learn how to play?
Like a wooded flute kind of thing.
A Navajo flute, yes. Very good. All right, girls, if you had to say one thing about New Mexico, what would you say?
Hot. Yeah,
Hot.
hot, dry, sandy, spiky, beautiful. Yeah, let's just say that.
The desert.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
desert.
Deserty. No, I don't think how you pronounce that. Yeah.
Good job, girls. Thank you for serving.
No problem.
Hi, I'm Shannon, and it's been a great week here at the Navajo Reservation on the mission. Right now I'm sitting in front of the school. It's a Navajo school, and they have 25 registered students this year, and the school is scheduled to open on August 12th. And this week, some of what I got to do in here with my girls, we did a lot of organizing and prepping for the school year. They have a lot of supplies, I think, that have been donated, which is a great thing, but they need help getting it all where it needs to go. So there's a lot of cleaning, a lot of organizing, and we got to work in there, and we're just really excited for them in the school year that they're going to have this year. In addition to that, every day I got to lead worship with the ladies at the meetings for the ladies retreat. I lead worship just about every Sunday at my church in Baltimore, but it's just been a really incredible gift to sing and worship with these ladies this week. They love to sing about Jesus, and we even got to hear a few Navajo songs from them, and they tried to teach me, but I will say Navajo is very hard to learn. But it's just been a gift to get to know them through our worship together, and yeah, it's been a really life-changing experience.
I'm Vicki Jo Carrier and had the privilege of coming to the BIC Mission this week with the Living Hope team. And I had talked to Jan about having the opportunity to use some of my health experience with the women. And so I was able to do a little health moment that related to the topics of the mind and the heart. And then we talked about diabetes, and that's one of the top concerns for the Navajo Nation. Partly because of genetics and partly because of the food insecurity and the inability to eat fresh fruits and vegetables and the access to them. The nearest grocery store is 30 to 40 minutes away. And so a lot of these people don't even have transportation to get, to where the food and things that would be healthy for them would be. And so partly because of diet and then lack of medical care. Type 2 diabetes is a huge concern. So we talked about we had a poster that the women were really interested in, and actually Amber made copies of the poster because the women wanted to take the information home. And then another day talked about hypertension, and then with anxiety, which is also anxiety and depression in the Navajo women is also a big problem. So talked about ways that not only turning their problems over to God, but how their mind works and ways to counteract anxiety and things that they can do to help with that as well. So great opportunities, and we took some blood pressures and able to talk to women about some of their health problems. And we're actually sitting right now in a special place that was built several years ago when the Knolls were here, this pavilion, and we got to eat breakfast out here and just have a sweet time of fellowship the other morning and enjoy the cool air in the morning. And so just grateful for the opportunity to come to share with the women and to be blessed by them as well.
I want to give you 3 little snippets of moments when the Lord took my breath away. Monday, we started our time with the ladies, and we had a young mom come in with a little boy, about 10 years old, and I said, "Good morning, glad to have you, good to see you." And she began to apologize that she had to bring her son, but she had no one to take care of him. I said, "That's fine. Go on in, have a seat, get some coffee, and we'll get started in just a few minutes." Later, after session 1, we had a discussion time, so I sat at her table and got to know her a little bit better and realized all the many challenges that this young mom was facing. And then as she left, she said, "I can't come tomorrow. I have an appointment, so I won't be here tomorrow, but I'll see you on Wednesday." Well, Tuesday morning, long before we were ready to start, I see this woman and her little boy coming up the steps. And I said, "You're here. I'm so glad you're here." And she said, "I changed my appointment. I didn't want to miss my time with you girls." Then she leaned in, she said, "But we're hungry." And I said, "We can help with that." So I took her back to the kitchen, and the ladies made a hearty breakfast for those two, and then they came into the session. That was Monday. I realized Monday that we were dealing with people that were hungry. And maybe you've had that experience before, but I hadn't. All of us have had moments in our lives when we had to do without something, but it probably wasn't food. And we'd watch these ladies come at lunch, and they'd come to the buffet, and they would take the first serving, they'd sit down, they'd come back, and they would take more, and then they'd come and they'd wrap it in, the napkins and put it in their pocketbook for later. We were dealing with hungry people, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Thursday, Shannon spoke for the last session, and Shannon has, she's a friend of mine from SCA, but she had a really rough childhood. A childhood of chaos and abuse and need and just a mess. And she shared with the ladies a little bit about her story. And I'm sitting in the back and I'm watching this thinking, they are hanging on her every word because that's where they are. So many of these women have these really hard struggles. And as she's sharing, she began to weave in the gospel and how she had a grandfather who loved her dearly, took her out of the home for short periods of time and spoke truth into her life and told her about Jesus. And she tied it all together with this incredible message of hope. And that was Thursday. So Thursday, I'm trying to compose myself, so I left the room, and Jan Michalke comes and says, but we're going to pray with the ladies. I said, I know, I'll be right back. So Jan says to the women, if any of you ladies would like to pray with one of the team, we're here for you, and we would love to do that. And when I came back from having my moment, like all around this room, there were pockets of people, women praying together for a multitude of all kinds of things. And it was a powerful week of ministry. It was emotionally and physically exhausting. Like last Sunday, I couldn't even string two sentences together. But God is at work on the reservation. And shortly after our prayer time with these sweet ladies, Ed's in the parking lot, and here's his story.
I wasn't really expecting any encounters. I saw some wonderful things going on with the ladies and the ministry that they were doing. The Navajo ladies. My main task was transporting women over to the mission for the retreat, and then fill in jobs in between. Well, on Thursday, Vicki Joe and I had been riding together to pick up people. We got back, and she was taking one of the signs off the vehicle we had. I stepped out the other side, and one of the Navajo ladies, Karen, came out and started talking to Vicki Joe a few feet away from the expedition. So I finished taking the sign off the side. I didn't want to interrupt their conversation, but I glanced over, and Karen looked at me and started talking both ways toward us. So I stepped over and joined them. And she was talking about the struggles that they have, addiction, alcoholism. She was talking specifically about her son at that point and the struggles that he had and how he had overcome them, and her watching that happen, how she prayed for him, how she tried to stay back, but she realized that what she could do was pray that he'd get through them, and he's having a positive life now, and she was explaining that. And then she finished her story, and she went over to Vicki Joe and gave her a hug, and then she turned to me, and I'm a hugger person. I like hugging, I like getting hugs, but I also am very careful to not approach people who may not want a hug from me. So I watched her, and she started to reach out with her hand, and I did the same. We took hands, and it immediately turned into a hug. And she said, "Thank you for listening." And then she took both of our hands, and we little circle with Vicki Joe and me and Karen. And I thought Vicki Joe was going to pray for Karen, but Karen started praying in Navajo. Beautiful. Didn't know any of the words, except every once in a while I'd hear something like Holy Spirit. And the rest was all strange. She finished up, and we all had tears in our eyes, and she said, "You don't know what I was saying." And we said, "No, we don't." And she smiled, and she said, "You come out here and you do things for us, you encourage us, but you need encouragement too. I was praying for you, for encouragement for the team." And we all hugged again and left. And I haven't been able to tell that story yet without crying. We wanted to say thank you to all of you who contributed to the mission, to our trip. Thank you so much for all who prayed for us. Without those prayers, these things wouldn't have been possible. So thank you.